Hello everyone, it's Crystal. Let me start by asking you this. How do you call your husband, wife, boyfriend? If you answer any sort of name like Julie, Bob, Chris, honey, or sweetie, then unfortunately you are not giving the right kind of answer to this question. Let's figure out why in the rest of the video. Let's think about this question a little bit more deeply. How do you call your husband? The key word here is how. When we use how in English, it means in what way or manner, or by what means. So this question is asking, in what way or manner do you call your husband? Not what name do you call your husband by? So the correct answer here might be, how do you call your husband? On the phone. But this is probably not what you meant to ask. This is a very common mistake that many non-native speakers make. Other languages may use different question words to ask different things, which can be confusing. Take a look at this Korean sentence. 어떻게 부르면 될까요? If I directly translated this into English, it would be, how should I call you? But the Korean question is asking, what should I call you? As in, Mr. Jones, Bill, or some other name. But if the speaker asks this question by directly translating it from Korean, as in, how should I call you? Then it would sound so much strange to English speakers. Think about this example. If someone pointed to a cat and asked, how do you call that animal? Then the correct answer would be, pss, pss, pss. Here, kitty, kitty. But that probably isn't what they wanted to ask. They most likely wanted to ask, what do you call that animal? We call that animal a cat. So if you want to ask what something is called in a certain language, you would ask, what do you call a cat in Korean? Or what is a cat called in Korean? But you can also ask this question in other ways. I am sure you have heard, how do you say this in Korean? In this case, if we used what instead of how, the question becomes logical. What do you say cat in Korean? This doesn't make any sense. So we would ask, how do you say cat in Korean? We say 고양이. When you meet new people, you also may want to ask what name the other person would like you to use. So in addition to my previous example, what should I call you? Or what would you like to be called? There's a more formal way of asking this question using the verb address. When using address, we would use how, not what. As in, how should I address you? Mr. Jones would be fine. So the key point when asking these kinds of questions depends on what verb you are using. So let's go over it. How do you say this in this language? This question is asking for a word. How do you say waiter in Korean? It's 종업원. What do you call this in this language? Or what is this called in this language? This question is also asking for some kind of word. So what do you call waiter in Korean? It's 종업원. How do you call this? This question is asking in what way or manner. So how do you call a waiter in Korea? The answer would be some kind of method, like saying 저기요, or by using the special call button on the table. It would not be some kind of name like Mr. Park or Jongwon in this case. I hope you guys have a better understanding about when to use how and what depending on which verb you use. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions, go ahead and leave them down below. Please like and subscribe for new content, and until next time, bye!